Bruce Lee defeated the school's top boxer by using Cha-Cha and Wing Chun. When Bruce Lee first wanted to join the school boxing team, he was ridiculed by foreigners. The reason why Bruce Lee wanted to join the boxing team was that the person who won the boxing championship held by the school could represent the school to participate in the student boxing competition in Hong Kong and challenge the Triple Crown champion David Caulfield. Hearing Bruce Lee's claim that he could easily win the championship, the foreign coach immediately called a student and asked him to compete with Bruce Lee. Although the student was big and strong, Bruce Lee knocked the student down with just one punch. After defeating several other players in a row, the coach finally stood up to stop him. But Bruce Lee had practiced Wing Chun before, so when he practiced boxing, no matter how he practiced, it was like practicing Kung Fu. The first thing he had to change was the fisting posture, and he had to put the heavy punch behind him, which was completely opposite to the posture of Wing Chun. Just this point alone was difficult for Bruce Lee to adapt. The second was the pace. The posture of Wing Chun could not be used in boxing, so the coach asked him to start using sliding steps instead. It was very difficult for Bruce Lee, who was just starting to learn boxing, to change these 2 points, but he did not intend to give up. However, this attracted the ridicule of his classmates. Soon, Bruce Lee had a practical training with Blair. This time, Bruce Lee specially asked his senior brother to come and watch. He wanted his senior brother to point out his shortcomings in boxing. After returning to the martial arts hall, the senior brother directly hit the pain point, saying that Bruce Lee's hands and feet were not coordinated when he was boxing. Bruce Lee tried it again, and he suddenly realized that this was the pace of his own cha-cha dance. By accident, Bruce Lee finally found the pace that suited him. But the next problem was the strength of the punch. Because of the boxing posture, Bruce Lee, who had always practiced Wing Chun, could not exert any strength at all. At this time, Ip Man came forward to give some advice. Then the apprentice took a very thick wooden board. At this moment, Bruce Lee was like a revelation, and the Cha-Cha martial arts inch punch must be useful. Afterwards, Bruce Lee packed up all the broken boards that Ip Man had taken home. Looking at the broken boards, he also wanted to become a master like Ip Man. Soon, the school's boxing match began. The final was between Bruce Lee and Blair. Whoever won the match could represent the school to participate in the Hong Kong Boxing Championship. This time, Bruce Lee changed his previous aggressive style of play. He used the Cha-Cha dance to deal with Blair. Blair had been attacking fiercely. In a moment, Bruce Lee seized the opportunity and hit Blair hard on the back of his neck. It seemed that the force of this blow was very strong, and Blair did not get up for a long time. Bruce Lee won the championship. Then what would be the result of Bruce Lee representing the school in the Hong Kong boxing competition? This was the first time Bruce Lee used an inch punch. This sudden inch punch surprised Bruce Lee and his fellow apprentices. It was originally a happy thing, but Ip Man came out and poured a basin of cold water on it, saying that Bruce Lee was just lucky that his senior brother was not prepared and underestimated the enemy. When the brothers brought a wooden board and asked Bruce Lee to hit him with the inch punch again, he could not break the board as easily as Ip Man. Ip Man also pointed out the problem. Although Bruce Lee's movements were standard, his strength was far from enough, and he could not explode all the strength of his body at one point. But at this time, Bruce Lee made a special request. He wanted Ip Man to hit him with the inch punch so that he could personally feel the power of the inch punch. Ip Man admired Bruce Lee's martial arts spirit very much, so he satisfied him. This punch directly knocked Bruce Lee back several meters. After accurately feeling the true power of the inch punch, Bruce Lee went home and practiced late at night without sleeping. Although Bruce Lee had a talent for martial arts, it was thanks to his extraordinary diligence. He picked up a wooden board and held it in front of him, posed, thought of the master's formula in his heart, and then fired smoothly. The next day, Bruce Lee got bad news. He wanted to practice boxing with his nemesis Blair, but unfortunately, Blair had a terminal illness and had to go to the United States for treatment immediately. He even put aside his past grudges and left all the boxing information at home for Bruce Lee to learn. Before the plane took off, Bruce Lee still met with Blair for the last time. Blair finally asked Bruce Lee to help him fulfill his wish, which was to win the Hong Kong Boxing Championship and defeat David Caulfield. After returning, Bruce Lee trained frantically, and he already carried Blair's will. It may be a bit difficult to accept the departure of his favorite apprentice, and the foreign coach wanted to find a place to vent. So he brought boxing equipment and had a real fight with Bruce Lee. During the fight, Bruce Lee was absent-minded and dodged the coach's punches. After the coach's output, Bruce Lee still fell down. At this moment, Bruce Lee's master's teachings and his friend's wishes appeared in his mind again. Bruce Lee's eyes were fierce and his will was firm. He used the inch punch again and again and knocked the coach out. Seeing that Bruce Lee could beat himself, the coach was also relieved, and he asked everyone to applaud Bruce Lee. A month later, the Hong Kong student boxing competition finally arrived. Bruce Lee made it all the way to the finals and competed with the Triple Crown champion David Caulfield for the championship. After the two had a trash talk session, the game officially began. David Caulfield took advantage of his size and kept attacking, and Bruce Lee could only temporarily avoid the edge and dodge flexibly in the early stage. Everyone thought that this game would be very difficult for Bruce Lee, but after a period of special training, Bruce Lee had already become calm and steady. When the opponent's physical strength was almost exhausted, he went straight forward and gave a set of combination punches. The people in the audience were also anxious, but the fact is that David Caulfield has fallen to the ground and can't continue the game. Bruce Lee has indeed proved through his own actions that 99% of hard work plus 1% of talent can lead to success. I have never seen such a bold street urchin who dared to collect protection fees in front of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee couldn't stand it, so he took the money from the boss and wanted to play tricks on the gangsters in front of him. After coming outside, the gangsters wanted to teach Bruce Lee a lesson, but they didn't expect that they were no match for Bruce Lee. As expected, they were all knocked down by Bruce Lee easily. Of course, the bald gangster in the lead couldn't be let go. When the shop owner saw that Xiaolong drove the gangsters away, he happily asked the kitchen to cook 2 good dishes to entertain Bruce Lee. It turned out that this group of hooligans were all Wang Lichao's men. In the name of maintaining order, Wang Lichao demanded 1,000 yuan in protection fees from each store every month. 1,000 yuan is not a small amount. This time, Bruce Lee drove away the hooligans, and the store owner was very happy. After such flattery, Bruce Lee was also full of justice, and immediately promised that if anyone dared to collect protection fees from any store in the future, he would beat him directly. Bruce Lee was less than 20 years old, of course. He didn't know the dangers of society. He cut off other people's money, which meant that he didn't let others live. The next day, Wang Lichao's men brought people to Bruce Lee's father's theater. They smashed it randomly and beat up the staff. It wasn't until the police came that the hooligans dispersed. At this time, Bruce Lee's father received a note backstage, which read, "I'll teach you a lesson today, so that your son will mind his own business in the future." He also instantly understood that Bruce Lee must have provoked Wang Lichao, so he sent people to smash the place as a warning. When Wang Lichao learned that his men had smashed the Lee family theater, he was very angry and scolded his younger brother, Baldhead, to use his brains. If he couldn't collect the protection fee, he could press him, but he couldn't provoke the police. Fortunately, Wang Lichao bribed the police to help his younger brothers. At night, Wang Lichao invited Bruce Lee to a 5-star hotel for a drink. Wang Lichao obviously intended to use courtesy before force. The wine poured by the enemy should not be drunk easily. Bruce Lee rejected Wang Lichao with contempt. Softness didn't work, so Wang Lichao started to perform a pitiful show. He said that his younger brothers were all from prison. If he hadn't taken these people in, they would definitely commit crimes and go to prison again. He did this in a disguised way to maintain social order. Such poor acting skills can only coax a 3-year-old child. His performance was the finale of the night. He was sorry that his younger brother smashed the theater of Bruce Lee's father. To express his apology, he directly picked up a pot of hot soup and poured it on the head of the bald gangster. This apology can only be said to be very sincere, but the bald gangster was very unhappy. However, Wang Lichao's sugar-coated bullets were not over yet. The next day, he sent his younger brother to deliver an apology letter to Bruce Lee's father and gave him a sum of compensation. Originally, after using this 2-pronged trick, Wang Lichao thought that Bruce Lee would no longer meddle in other people's affairs. But when the younger brother continued to collect protection fees, he ran into Bruce Lee again. Bruce Lee still couldn't stand this kind of bullying behavior. He resolutely asked Wang Lichao's men to get out and made a harsh remark. Wang Lichao is a devil. Bruce Lee cut off his financial resources, so Wang Lichao would naturally not let him go. The next day, he went to threaten Bruce Lee's father. On the surface, he was polite, but in fact, he was hinting. If he doesn't take care of his son, he will bear the consequences. Everyone in Hong Kong knew about Wang Lichao's power, but no matter how his parents reasoned with Bruce Lee just couldn't listen at all. In desperation, Bruce Lee's father found Ip Man and wanted him to help persuade Bruce Lee not to go against Wang Lichao. After many people persuaded Bruce Lee to no avail, Ip Man was forced to resort to this last resort to abolish Bruce Lee's martial arts and make him behave himself. Bruce Lee said to the point, "If a martial artist cannot eliminate violence and do good deeds, what is the use of learning martial arts?" He resolutely said, even if he himself did not practice martial arts, facing a villain like Wang Lichao who collected protection fees at will, he would still punch hard. Ip Man did not want to listen to Bruce Lee's explanation, but at this time, all the brothers and sisters of Wing Chun Hall knelt down collectively to plead for Bruce Lee. In addition, Bruce Lee was Ip Man's favorite disciple and finally couldn't bear to untie Bruce Lee's acupuncture points. But Bruce Lee was soon retaliated by Wang Lichao. That night, Bruce Lee and his girlfriend just came out of the cinema, and the bald gangster immediately prepared for action. Bruce Lee was immediately sent to the hospital by ambulance for emergency treatment. On the other side, the bald gangster reported to Wang Lichao after completing the task. At this time, Wang Lichao found something wrong. Wang Lichao must have thought, "Why is there such a stupid younger brother?" The helmet was left at the crime scene, and he will definitely be found in the end. So in order to clear himself from the relationship, Wang Lichao asked the yellow-skinned boy to send a new piece of clothing to the bald gangster to congratulate him the next day. The bald gangster did not realize that he was about to die. On the other hand, after the doctor's treatment and his own tenacious body, Bruce Lee was not in any serious trouble. But Wang Lichao is a demon, and there will definitely be another assassination attempt if this one fails. So Bruce Lee's father discussed with his family and asked him to go to the United States with Xiao Bo to hide for a while. If Bruce Lee was told directly to go to the United States to avoid Wang Lichao, Bruce Lee would definitely not agree. So Ye Wen made up a lie. He said that several martial arts gyms in Taiwan had sent invitations for martial arts exchanges, and Yangchun Hall wanted to send Bruce Lee to learn. Bruce Lee did not notice and readily agreed. But when boarding the ship, Bruce Lee learned from other passengers that this was a ship to San Francisco, USA. Bruce Lee questioned his senior brother. Why did the master and his father lie to him? Seeing that he could no longer hide the truth, the senior brother told Bruce Lee the whole story. When Bruce Lee heard that it was Wang Lichao who sent someone to hit him, he could not get on the ship. So he left angrily and wanted to seek revenge on Wang Lichao.